Good afternoon, folks. This is the old captain coming to you live from what we call the Dockson's Dock here on Crooked Creek. The Ludi Bee, the electrified Ludi Bee's back in her spot. The trickle charger's plugged back up. Fish have been cleaned. And we're just sitting here a minute reflecting on this morning's activities. I thought rather than write a bunch today, I thought I might just tell you the story. Somebody much more famous than I started a story one time by saying it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. Well, that's kind of the way it was this morning, except it was the other way around. It was the worst day, but yet it was the best day. For some time now, Johnny Sessoms, Jonathan Herndon, and others have been telling me that you keep going out to that old bridge, you're going to hang something that's going to break your arm. And it's just going to be beyond anything you can imagine. And I knew that could happen. I knew there were some big fish out there. But I really guess firsthand I didn't know how big until this morning. Well, Max and I left here about 7:15, got anchored up there and settled in, and by 7:45, 8 o'clock, I had all the baits out. Max was getting comfortable, and everything was going well, cool, nice little breeze, probably mid-60s. I had 3 rods out, one with some raw chicken on it, 2 with brim heads, but one of the brim heads was under a float, fishing about 20 feet deep. We're probably in 25 feet of water. I'm sitting there reading, and all of a sudden, one of my ugly sticks, the tip, went into the water. Now, I'd seen that happen before, but usually when I pick up the rod, I could pull it up out of the water. I couldn't pull it. Well, I put it back in the rod holder, quickly reeled in the other rods, pulled up my anchor rope. Well, actually I just unattached the boat from the anchor rope because it's got a big float on it so I could come back to it. So I just dispatched the anchor rope, and there for a little while it was just me and the fish. That thing was pulling me in circles. I'd gain a little bit, he'd pull a little bit, gain a little bit. You know how it goes. Well, got him to the surface, and it was the biggest flathead catfish I've ever seen in person. Now, I've caught one here on the creek that weighed 20 pounds, which I thought was a big fish. But folks, if this one wasn't 30, 35 pounds, I'd be shocked. I'd be surprised. Well, I don't take a net. I got one of them little plastic lip gripper things, and that's usually sufficient. And I got the fish up alongside, even took a picture. Should have taken more. Took a picture down his mouth. I could have put my 2 big fists in his mouth side by side. Well, I was reaching for I had the lip gripper on him, and he still had the hook in his mouth, but it apparently wasn't hooked very well. And then I was reaching for the stringer, and I was just going to slip it through his gills and out his mouth and tie him up so I'd, at least get him in the boat maybe, or at least get some pictures. And then something happened. He jumped. I turned my head, and I looked. I had the lip gripper in my hand. The hook was out of the fish's mouth, and he was slowly swimming away. Well, I've lost big fish before, but I just hate losing fish. It's kind of like losing the ball game. But anyway, I didn't cuss, I didn't throw anything, didn't throw my clubs against a tree or kick the base or do anything silly like that. Although I was very disappointed and tempted to. But, so I just sat there for a little while and made a couple of phone calls, a couple of texts. Of course, you got to do that these days. Well, all of a sudden, my right paw goes down. And I don't know if the good Lord was rewarding me for not being a complete jerk, but I caught a nice blue cat. Wasn't long, I caught a second pretty nice blue cat. And before we left at 11 o'clock now, I caught yet a third nice blue cat. Got him home on a stringer, and the 3 blue cats weighed 28 pounds total. Now, that fish I lost was much bigger than 28 pounds. He could have probably swallowed one of these. Maybe not, but in my mind he could have. But man, what a day. What a day. I'll never forget today. Got to fish clean, got tons of fish. Fish to share, fish to cook, fish to share, fish to cook. I spent about, maybe $4 on some of that fish, chicken last night, and I cooked half of it and ate it for supper. Pretty cheap fun. But the big one did get away, but he's still back out there, and one day we'll meet again, and maybe next time we'll put him in the boat. Thanks for going with us. Thanks for following our pictures and our frivolity. Hope you have a great afternoon. God bless, and you get a chance, you come see us up at the Steel Bridge.